We watch below deck as if we're a fly on the wall, like we're peeking in on a real yacht crew doing real work. But what you see on screen is a fraction of what's actually going on. Because just out of frame, there's a small army of camera operators crammed into that boat. Hidden cameras in the crew's bedrooms, microphones capturing every single word, and a set of strict rules the cast has to follow that would completely change how you watch the show. So today we're pulling back the curtain on what really happens behind the cameras on Below Deck, the secrets, the setup, and what's real versus what's manufactured. Let's get into it. Let's start with the biggest question everyone has. Is Below Deck scripted? And the answer, according to the people who make it, is genuinely no. Producer Mark Cronin has been clear about this. He told In Touch Weekly, "It's very important to us that they have a real experience. The conversations aren't scripted. The fights aren't written. The crew's reactions to disaster guests are genuine. Producers have said the most they'll do is tell a crew member to talk if they're doing something mundane in silence, because silent work makes boring TV, so the events themselves are real. But, and this is the crucial nuance, not scripted is not the same as not manufactured. The real magic and the real manipulation happens in the editing room. Producers highlight and amplify drama through editing. They can take hours of footage and cut it together to make a small moment look huge, or make unrelated events seem connected. And even more importantly, they control the raw ingredients. The charter guests are cast for their big personalities. The crew is cast to be volatile and outgoing. So, while nobody hands them a script, production stacks the deck with exactly the kind of people and situations most likely to explode. It's not scripted, it's engineered. There's a difference, and understanding it is the key to watching this show intelligently. Now let's talk about the thing that would shock most viewers. Just how many people are actually on that boat. When you watch, you see maybe 8 or 9 crew members in a seemingly intimate, isolated setting. But behind the cameras, there's a whole second crew you never see. According to guests who've been on board, while the yacht crew might be 7 or 8 people, the film crew is another 15 to 20 people, running in and out constantly day and night. So that intimate yacht is actually packed with 20 plus extra bodies. Camera operators, sound people, producers, all milling around, getting in people's faces. One guest described it as anything but the relaxing atmosphere you'd expect from a luxury charter. So when a crew member is having an emotional breakdown and it feels raw and private, there are 15 strangers with cameras standing 3 feet away. That completely reframes those vulnerable moments. And here's the part that genuinely surprises people. The cameras never stop and they're everywhere, including the bedrooms. The crew is filmed 24/7 while working. There are camera operators on board, plus hidden cameras all over the yacht, including in the crew's cabins where they sleep. An inside Bravo source confirmed to Us Weekly that cabins have surveillance cameras in them all the time. And the cast knows they're being recorded at all times. So every private conversation, every whispered bit of gossip, every hookup in a bunk, it's all being captured. The cast has zero expectation of privacy in their own beds. In fact, there's only one place on the entire boat where a crew member can escape the cameras: the bathroom. The bathroom is the single camera free zone. It's the only place cast members can go to have a genuinely private conversation or just breathe. But, and this is almost comically strict, there's a catch. If more than one crew member goes into the bathroom at the same time, the camera operators are allowed to follow them in. So the second 2 people try to have a private chat in the one private room, production can bust in and film it. They've basically closed the only loophole. Cast members have been explicitly warned that piling into the washroom together won't get them any privacy. There's a fun piece of Below Deck history tied to this. For the longest time, there was one accidental blind spot on the boat, the laundry room. It had no cameras, and that blind spot became famous in season 3, when bosun Eddie Lucas had his infamous secret hookup with Rocky in the laundry room, thinking it wasn't being captured. After that, production made sure to eliminate blind spots, so Eddie's laundry room rendezvous is literally the reason the cameras got even more inescapable. One hookup changed the whole surveillance setup. Now here's a behind-the-scenes rule that would completely change how you see the show. The cast is not allowed to interact with the film crew at all. Even though these 2 groups of people spend 6 weeks crammed together on the same boat, there's a strict no-contact rule. Hannah Ferrier revealed just how extreme it is. She said the film crew won't even talk to me. They won't even say hello to me. Think about how strange and isolating that is. You're on a boat with 30 people, but 15 of them, the ones holding cameras in your face all day, are forbidden from even saying good morning to you. It's designed to preserve the fly-on-the-wall illusion, to make you forget the film crew exists. But for the cast, it means being surrounded by people who treat you like you're not there, which has to mess with your head over 6 weeks. Let's talk about the guests, because this is where real gets complicated. The guests are real. They're genuine charter clients who actually pay for their trips, not actors. Producer Cortland Cox has said most guests are experienced charterers, not fame chasers. But they get a significant discount, reportedly up to 50% off the normal weekly rate, in exchange for being filmed and agreeing to participate. And here's the somewhat staged part. Production chooses these guests. You don't get to be a below-deck guest just by paying. You get selected, and production picks the guests with the biggest personalities, the most demanding tendencies, the most potential for drama. So the guests are real people having real reactions, but they've been handpicked to be as entertaining and often as difficult as possible. That's why every charter seems to have a nightmare primary. It's not luck, it's casting. And here's a detail about the crew's real behavior that pulls back the curtain even further. Real yacht professionals will tell you that the constant crew conflict, the hookups, the drama, that's not what a normal charter looks like. On a real charter, the crew stays professional because yachting is a competitive career, and your reputation depends on positive broker feedback. The messy, drama-filled dynamic you see on Below Deck is heightened by the casting and the editing. Actual working yacht crews rarely engage in that level of on-duty conflict. So the show isn't a documentary about yachting. It's a reality show that uses a yacht as its stage. The professionalism you'd see on a real charter wouldn't make good television. There are smaller behind-the-scenes rules too that shape everything. Crew can't wear shoes on deck to protect the flooring. That's why you always see them barefoot or in socks. Fraternizing with the guests is against the rules, and a fun one. Captain Lee was never even supposed to be the captain. According to behind-the-scenes lore, Season 1 was originally going to feature a different captain, and the role got, in Lee's words, dumped in his lap. The most iconic captain in the franchise almost wasn't on the show at all. So when you put all of this together, here's what really happens behind the cameras on Below Deck. The events are real, but the cast is engineered. Hand-picked volatile crew, hand-picked difficult guests, all chosen to maximize drama. The isolation is an illusion. There are 20-plus film crew crammed on that boat. The privacy is non-existent. Cameras everywhere, including their beds, with only the bathroom as a fragile refuge. The film crew is a silent ghost presence forbidden from acknowledging the cast, and the editing takes all of that raw material and sculpts it into the story producers want to tell. It's not fake, but it's very, very far from a neutral fly-on-the-wall look at yachting. And honestly, knowing all this makes the show more impressive to me, not less, because those crew members are doing genuinely hard, real work, cooking, cleaning, docking a 200-foot boat while being filmed 24/7 by strangers who won't speak to them, with no privacy, no escape, and cameras in their bedrooms for 6 straight weeks. The drama might be amplified in the edit, but the exhaustion, the pressure, and the surreal experience of living your life as content, that part is completely real. So the next time you watch someone melt down on Below Deck, remember, they're doing it in front of 20 people who are pretending they don't exist, with a camera in their bunk waiting for them when they finally get to lie down. Which of these behind-the-scenes secrets surprised you the most? Pop off in the comments. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.